Update on Gordon's condition?
Yeah, so he went through, got to the hospital when we landed late last night. Went through a myriad of tests this morning, confirmed what we reported yesterday, the dislocated ankle and the fractured tibia, and is, in the midst of discussing next steps, which will include surgery very soon, but it's not set. There's no time set. There's no, they haven't finalized that yet. So we will alert you when we know that, and we'll probably do it with a statement or a press release. So yeah, that's the update.
You spent time with him today. How's he doing?
Yeah, I was there for a minute last night, and then also again today for an hour or so. He's down. Obviously, there's a physical pain to it, but I think there's also doubled by the emotional pain of, he put a lot of effort into trying to start this career out well in Boston, and but this is a setback. We're expecting a full recovery, and we know there are going to be a lot of tough days ahead on that recovery, but at the same time, I think hopefully he'll improve day to day, but it's been tough. It's been tough on him.
Is it a season-ending injury?
We don't know that stuff yet. I'm not going to speculate nor put a timeline on it. I think after they get they finalize the surgery date and decide that, and then they go in there and really evaluate it. Once they do the surgery, then they'll let us know.
Did the MRI reveal any other ligament damage?
I don't have anything else to add. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't, and not because I don't want to. I don't probably not as up to speed on all of that as maybe a doctor would be.
Does he have more than practice?
Yes.
Brad, it seems like there's been a lot of outreach just around the league in the last 24 hours. You talked going all about that, and helped the spirits all.
Yeah, it's helped the spirits quite a bit. I mean, people, I'm sure all of you shared text messages with your friends. People were texting all of us, and certainly he heard from a ton of people, both directly and indirectly, and he's appreciative of that. I thought both teams yesterday were obviously affected by that. I thought the Cavs organization was top-notch in taking care of them while we were there, and we all appreciated that. And obviously their players and our players were concerned about it. He'll continue to need that support as he goes through this. But again, we're expecting this to be a full recovery. No timeline on it, but full recovery.
What's been your biggest challenge?
Morale right now, the guys in the locker room?
We've got a game tonight, so I think the biggest thing is they really care about Gordon. He's made a big impact on them. He's an easy guy to play with. He's a guy you want to play with on both ends of the floor. Certainly you miss that, that camaraderie. But one of the tasks that we have now is to pick up steam for him, and guys that get opportunities that may not have, or guys that get opportunities from a more minute standpoint, need to be ready to take advantage of those.
In a situation like this, you're as a coach a lot of times seen as a father figure, things like that. How do you handle this? Do you state something once to the team as a group and go on, or is it individually?
I talk mostly individually. I mean, I think that as far as talking about how he feels and everything else, it's more just one-on-one with him. But certainly our guys they're all in contact with him, whether it's personally or via text or whatever. Obviously, with a back-to-back, it's not an ideal timing from that standpoint, but these guys are pretty tight and they remain in close contact with him.
How do you keep the team up? I know you have a game tonight, but how do you keep them up and not dwell on the fact that they lost one of their all-stars?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, we know that we've got a long way to go, and we're a team that's going to be growing for a while, just merely due to the number of new guys and the amount of youth that we're playing. But I think that the exciting thing for guys they have an opportunity to step in and contribute, and I think that they want to do so for two reasons. Number one is they want to do so because it's an opportunity for them, and number two is they do want to play well for him. And I think that that's something that we all have to do our jobs as well as we can. It's not an easy thing to do because you're thinking about more important things, but I think that that's part of sports.
Fred, what's the pull then on you? I mean, you've got to prepare a basketball team, but it's the human side as well.
I don't do much else, Steve. So like I don't go out when I get home and go out to breakfast, do lunch, and everything else. I'm just either coaching basketball or thinking about the relationships that go with it. So it's just all part of the job. It's all one big part of the job.
I mean, just you got to be thinking basketball and what next, but you've got the huge concern for this individual.
Yeah. I mean, the concern for the individual takes precedent, no question about it. And then the next thing that we'll be working through is how are we going to play, because we do have to make some quick tweaks to how we play, because he's obviously a large part of our preseason focus. Marcus Smart will start.
Is there another layer to this, Brad? Because I mean, the players are your players. The kid who's living with you said, another layer.
Yeah, I think you care about everybody, obviously, and you want to make sure that everybody knows that you care about it. There's no doubt that having known him as long as I've known him, it's really tough to see him go through this. And but he's got a great support network. His wife's great. He's got two great little girls that'll bring smiles to his faces regardless of how he feels, and his parents are here. So we'll make sure that he knows that we've got our arms around him.
Brad, last night after the game, you had sounded like a good conversation with Isaiah. What was that like?
Yeah, I guess I'll keep all those conversations between us, but it's always, we've got a great relationship. He's a special guy to me and to everybody here. And, I think getting a chance to see him before the game and then after the game, and then Kayla, he was back there with Gordon when Gordon was getting a splint, because he was back there anyways doing his rehab. So, he's obviously plays for another team, but he's a special guy to us.
Obviously with Marcus moving into the starting lineup now, you become very, very young on that second unit.
We were young anyways, Scott.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
But, so extremely young. How do you hope that the guys will fulfill that? And have you talked to Danny at all about finishing that, maybe the roster spot?
I think that we will probably look at the roster spot. I mean, we're bringing Jabari Bird back and using one of his two-way days today. But I think that we will at least be actively looking for that roster spot, just because, obviously the standpoint of the youth, but also because, you lose one of your better shooters, your more versatile players, a guy that can put the ball in the basket for you. So we'll see how that works itself out. We haven't really gotten into it too much because we got our hands full tonight.
Some people thought that Crowder might have gotten away. Maybe should have done better to get out of the way. Do you see any problem with that?
You know what? I haven't rewatched it. I don't really have any interest in rewatching it just because of the fall, but I didn't think that at all when I was watching it live. I mean, I thought that LeBron actually read the play, jumped up, deflected the pass, and it was just an unfortunate awkward landing. That was nobody's. There was no ill will, no fault, nothing. That was just a unique landing from what I saw. But I don't have any interest in rewatching it. Thanks.